What's up, guys? Welcome back. Amazing RC. It's your boy Brian, and well, today we were going to talk about nothing but bang goodies. I was going to install all of these really cool Banggood.com parts into this G-Made Sawback. I was going to have it all ready for this very video. And well, I ran into a very interesting snag, and I say snag because at the very end, I'm still quite confused, and that's where I hope one of you out there will help me out. I'm running into a technical issue. Now, ChipDog007, I know you're out there, and I know you're watching this video. What you're looking for is at the end of this very video, so sit tight and you'll see exactly what you've been waiting for this long time. Now, for the rest of you, I know that made absolutely no sense, but that's okay, because the rest of this video is for you. Starting yesterday, I tore the entire truck apart and I went and I started rewiring the entire thing. Now, if you remember, we got all kinds of 5mm LED housings. We've got even the super rare 3mm LED housings. We were gonna get all these stickers off of here and start lighting it up like a Christmas tree. Now, not only did we get the LEDs, the LED housings, but we also picked up another $11 light bar from Banggood.com. I absolutely love these light bars. This is the second time you guys will see it on this channel. The very first time was when I threw one of these on the boss's truck, and as you can see, he plays rough, and it still works. I believe in these. Every once in a great while, you'll see one on there that has one of the lights out. I haven't run into one yet. Like I said, super cheap. Love them. I'll have a link at the end. Now, we were going to describe all the really cool Banggood.com parts, our rope, our chain, all of this was going to be installed until I got to the coveted on-off switch. Now, if you guys are new to this channel, allow me to explain. This is an on-off switch from Banggood.com. This allows your transmitter, whichever transmitter it may be, that has at least one third channel button on it that allows you to turn on any set of lights that you have connected to your vehicle via your transmitter. Now, all the times that you've tried to do that in the past and it just didn't work, it's because you've always needed one of these. Again, I'll have a link to these at the end of the video. I've sold enough of these through my affiliate program with Banggood.com, I could probably start an early retirement. They've always worked. Until now. Knowing that I was going to fill this truck with a ton of lights, I automatically installed two on-off switches right in my receiver. As soon as I put these in there, I had them elaborately, didn't even check to see if they worked because they always have worked. I had them ran all the way to the underside of the carbon fiber. I put Velcro under there. I included Velcro here. I didn't like where they were because I knew they were going to get wet. I was already ready to put liquid black tape all over them. And if you guys have any idea what liquid black tape is, it's an absolute mess. It works, but it's a mess. Once I got these in there, I went ahead and installed our Banggood.com light bar. As you can see, I've got it bolted down to a custom piece of 3mm carbon fiber. Now, the reason that I did this is because it's in a very, very rock-prone area, and I didn't want this light bar to be torn off the truck. Now, what I did was I basically cut this custom piece of carbon fiber and I bolted it to the chassis of the truck. So as you can see, this is now part of the vehicle. I can probably pick this thing up and carry it wherever I want to, using it as a handle without any worry. Now what that does is it protects my $11 light bar, and I'm assuming that it would need some type of protection. So then instantly I'm thinking, well, I never tested the light bar. This may be the very first one that I've got that not only one of the lights are out, but the whole entire thing is dead. So I plucked the light bar out of the on-off switch, I stuck it in a receiver, and it worked perfectly fine. So I'm thinking, wow, maybe it's my on-off switch. I did get both of these on-off switches out of a car that I've already used the on-off switch in. So neither of them were new. Never had that problem before. They're pretty resilient little chipsets. No bother, let's test the on-off switches. Pulled both of them out of the car, threw them in another receiver, both worked perfectly fine. And then I got scared because I thought, okay, I never really used this toggle switch. Maybe there's something up with my transmitter. I did just update the firmware. If you remember, we put cruise control on this via radio link. Brand new firmware update. If you missed that, that's a video just prior to this one. You need to check that out. Everything checked out fine. I had absolutely zero issues with the transmitter. So then I went and started to plug everything I could in and test it all out. Just anything I could throw at it. I took the on-off switches out and I put them in different channels in the radio link, and I started, testing them with all kinds of different regular LEDs, and I didn't get anything. So I plugged the on-off switches out and I took just the light bar and I plugged it into channel 5 and it worked perfectly fine. There's no on-off switch in there at all. I have really nothing to say other than this has never worked like this before. For years, I've been trying to figure out what the extra buttons were for if you plug LED lights in, and they don't work. Then, probably 2 years ago, when I became an affiliate for Banggood.com, I discovered the on-off switch. And it changed RC life for me from then on forward until today, when this didn't work. And now, I have this eureka moment. No on-off switch. It's just the light bar hooked up into the receiver. You match the toggle switch back and forth and you're 100% ready to go. Now that I don't have to use any on-off switches, glorious, that's a whole lot less wires and no exposed chipsets hanging underneath directly in front of all the water that's going to be spraying up into the truck. But then that's where the excitement stopped, because of course I grabbed the rest of my LEDs and started plugging them into the receiver box, and they didn't work. The very next two lights that I did, if you can tell, instead of just clear Lexan for our two headlights here, I actually ripped apart this really cool all-metal rack from Banggood.com, and I got to keep the rack fully intact, and I got 4 plastic LED light housings out of it. And instead of using those with the rack, I'm going to use the rack by itself for another build. And I took 2 of these really cool plastic LED housings and I stuffed them right behind the clear Lexan in the front of the G-Made sawback body. And I'll tell you, even with the lights off, this looks phenomenal. I am very excited to get lights inside of this thing, except I was kind of hitting a roadblock today when I couldn't get just a single LED light to work off of the channel. Not only that, I can't get it to work off of my on-off switch. Now, granted, the 2 open channels that I have are my 2 toggle switches. My button here, if you notice, is for my cruise control. If you remember, the firmware to this has been completely changed out to use this button specifically, the only push button channel that I have that's extra for cruise control. So that only leaves me with these 2 toggle switches, and I've gone into the radio link itself and I have, for maybe 30-40 minutes, messed with all the settings. I actually swapped out channel number 6 with channel number 4. I swapped them back and forth and tried to put the cruise control on the toggle switch, which didn't work. And it also didn't allow me, as a matter of fact, it didn't change anything. Even when I tried to switch them, and it said they were switched in the menu setup, it still didn't switch them. This firmware has completely hijacked this button for cruise control, and I'm 100% okay with that. I'm still trying to figure out what this light bar has that allows it to work independently without an on-off switch. And what I'm lacking in the opposite channel so that the rest of my LEDs can work from the transmitter as I want them to. That's where you guys come in. I'm going to keep researching that and see if I can't figure out exactly what it is. But as it stands right now, I'm at 100% loss when it comes to adding more lights that aren't just going to be on as soon as I hit the power. Now granted, and this is probably what I'll do, if I cannot get them to work on the switch the way I want to, now, I mean, remember, I always have my light bar, so it's not like I don't have something that works off the switch. my go-to now is to completely light everything here, fill the cool light housings with some LED lights so that not only will they look really cool with the lights off, but they'll look even cooler when I throw the lights on. Go ahead and add all my 5mm LEDs. We've got 2 pair of them going in the back for red. I'm going to get some 3mm LEDs. These here, I've got basically 4 of them. They come with 5, but aside from going Ford Raptor up front, having 3 in the center, I just am probably not going to do that to the Jeep. I'll probably have 2 yellows up front, possibly 2 yellow side markers. That will be the 3mm LEDs. I'm going to wire the entire thing and keep it all in the body. All of the wires will all go together. They'll be all wired up to one positive and negative, just basically a little red, connector. And then I'll wire everything to one channel. It may not be able to go on and off from the transmitter, but at least I can run the truck with the lights off. And I can also run the truck with the lights on. I will have that option. Don't get me wrong. I am very excited that I can still manipulate my light bar from the transmitter. But if any of you guys out there know, now here's my guess. The light bar has a 3-wire connector. Basically, what that tells me is it has a positive, a negative, and some type of ground. I know I'm probably wrong, but that's my educated guess. Any other light system I've tried to put in there so far were basically just a positive and a negative, and it just didn't work. I also tried to put a dummy wire in there, so basically I had a positive and a negative going to the LED light, and then I just threw a random, 3rd wire in there to see if I could trick the system into thinking that I had what the light bar has, and that didn't work either. So there is something special going on with the light bar that allows it to be ran from the transmitter sans on-off switch. So tell me what you guys think. Also, tell me how killer this light bar is, because with this carbon fiber, and yes, I'm going to shave the little, bolts off the bottom, but this light bar setup is absolutely killer. It came out, it is super duper diesel. I'm very happy with it. But let me know what you guys think about that extra channel and what's going on with the on-off switch. I actually may write Radiolink tomorrow and see what they say. So, guys, just know that we're still going to light this thing up like a Christmas tree. We're going to fit all the rest of these in there. I'm going to have that for you very soon. Really appreciate all of your support. If you haven't already, please hit that like button for me. It does actually help. We'll see you guys again with another really cool video. Until then, this is Amazing RC.